Steve Hamer, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, gentlemen. I hope that y'all are off to a really, really good start to this Monday morning. I hope you guys had some great snow days over the weekend, got to build a snowman and just kind of hang out, watch some good basketball. But man, bounce back game for sure this past Saturday.
Yeah, here's what I did. I slipped on the ice, fell, and dislocated my shoulder. What about that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there anyone is there potential litigation anywhere?
Well,
Because in today's environment,
I actually am considering my own intelligence or lack thereof. I thought to myself, just don't slip or you'll fall, because it was ice.
wow.
And went down, arm hanging out. And I'll just tell you this real quick, Steve, because you probably think I'm soft. But had them pop it in with no anesthesia, leaned over to put my tennis shoes on, it popped back out, and I had them pop it back in again. No anesthesia, nothing, no local.
Wow. Wow.
The guy goes, you're one tough son of a... I'm not even joking. All right, what did you think? It was not great. It does not feel good right now, but it's not about me. It's about Steve Hamer. Steve,
wow.
What did you think about the Vols bounce back on Saturday? Were you happy? Pleased? Do you think it was adequate?
Yeah, I'm pleased with it. Look, say what you will. The Florida game, going back to that particular debacle, was not good in many different facets of the game. I think it set basketball back 100 years, statistically thinking. They didn't shoot the ball well from the perimeter, from the mid-range, from the interior, from the charity stripe. And oh, by the way, we got out toughened. We didn't have the sort of physicality that it took to win in an environment like that. So just from top to bottom, it just was not a great performance from Tennessee basketball. Now, you can do one of two things, right? You can sulk. You can kind of lick your wounds and say, man, I don't know if this team is quite good enough to make that run. We got another game in Austin, Texas. Oh, by the way, they're 0-2. They've lost their home opener in the SEC. They're trying to get out the snide. They're desperate for a win. We're going to have the same type of tough environment. Or you can say, guys, we gotta circle the wagons ourselves, and we got to play like the more desperate team, and we got to go into Austin and win against our little brothers. And I think we did that. We did the latter. We did just enough. Was it perfect by any stretch of the imagination? Absolutely not. Are there some things that we still got to shore up? Yes. But did an adequate job of going down there, being prepared, having the right mindset, and coming out of there with a victory. So I'm very, very pleased with what I saw Saturday.
So, Steve, do you want me to ask you about the concerning sign for me on Saturday, or the positive first? Positive or negative?
Let's go negative first, because I want to end on a positive.
Yeah, just like a separated shoulder, that's the negative. Getting it put back in is the positive.
So, all right, let's go negative. Tell me if I'm wrong on this. I'm starting to see a red flag that Chaz Lanier is, even though he's a scorer, he's not an assassin. I mean, we know the story of Rick Barnes took him out because he passed up a shot on a play that was designed for him at the beginning of the second half. And when the game got tight at the end of the game, they went to Zakai Ziegler to take over more than Chaz Lanier. And I'll just give you a quick thing. I'm a big Grizzly fan. The same time this game was happening, Memphis beat Minnesota in the NBA. Ja Morant had a horrible game, but he's the one who hit the final 3 shots to win the game for Memphis. Are you nervous that Chaz Lanier doesn't have that assassin's mentality that a scorer needs?
I am not, and I'll tell you why. The last 2 games, obviously, Florida, tough environment. Chaz goes 3 for 16. Doesn't shoot the ball well by any stretch of the imagination. Saturday night, Chaz goes 3 for 11, whatever that is. Doesn't shoot the ball well at all. Hit our first 3 and then was a non-factor for the most part after that. I think he went 2 for 4 from the 3-point line. Here's why I will give you a reason to think otherwise. Being around Chaz in the very limited time that I've been around Chaz, I've kind of gotten, I can kind of read people, right? One of the things that's readily evident about Chaz Lanier is that he is unfazed. Now, Coach Barnes took him out of the game very strategically coming out of that second half because he didn't shoot the ball. And this is what he's paid to do, right? Shoot the basketball. Chaz was unfazed by that, meaning that, you know, he's drawn the ire from Coach Barnes day in and day out in practice. You know, it goes on and on and on. But here's what I expect to happen on Wednesday night. I expect Chaz to come out and get up about 20 shots because Chaz is not going to shy away. Okay. He's not going to say, you know what, it's maybe this is still Zakai's team and maybe I should defer. No. Chaz is a shooter and shooters are going to shoot. The main problem right now is that when you are the target of every other team's defensive schemes, it's going, if you don't readily pick it up quickly, it may take you a few games to go, well, okay, all right, this is the scout. This is how teams are going to play me coming off of a curl. This is how teams are going to play me coming off of a fade screen. So now I need to pick up my game. I need to adjust. And I think Chaz is capable of doing that. And I think you're going to see maybe next game, maybe the game after that, but all of a sudden, you're going to see Chaz reemerge to the guy that you saw against Austin Peay, against MTSU, against the Montanas, where he's going to get his shots off and he's going to get some good looks and he's going to knock them down. So I tend to think that he may not be that assassin just yet, but give it some time. He's going to figure it out and he's going to get to where we all think that he can be.
Caleb,
So
I know you want to jump into Lady Vols, but let me ask this. Is Darlington Dubar the X factor? I mean, I feel like we know where we get from Igor and Chaz and Zakai Ziegler, excuse me. I mean, I feel like I know what Tennessee's going to get from almost every player except for Darlene Stone Dubar. And I know he had personal issues early on, but if he raises his game to an elite level, and he played really well on Saturday, how much better does that make the Vols?
Tremendously better. You know, I made a point to Bob Kessling when Darlene Stone Dubar checked into the game for the first time the other night in Austin, Texas. I said that Darlene Stone Dubar, in my opinion, was going to have a big night. And Bob very quickly retorted with, "Why do you say that?" And I said, Darlene Stone is going to bring a certain level of physicality to the game. He's going to rebound the basketball. And I think that with his experience, albeit he played at Hofstra, we know that. With his experience, I don't think that this is going to phase him. I think he is going to come in here. He's going to knock down a three. And I think this is going to be his style of basketball game. Sure enough, it came to fruition. Now, look, I'm not a soothsayer. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not any of that, but I can read that game of basketball enough to know that Dubar was going to come in and have an immediate impact in which he did. He knocked down 2 threes, had a huge putback dunk, told the crowd to, you know, hey, settle down here. But he can be that X factor. He is just the type of guy that could come in, give you perimeter shooting, which we are struggling with right now, right? You know, we're kind of struggling. We're middle of the road in the NCC in terms of 3-point percentage. So we're kind of scuffling a little bit from there. But he can come in and knock down the three. He can rebound. He can play defense. And he gives you that physical inside presence that sometimes working. A real tough guy and, you know, impose his will if it will. So I think that he can see basketball moving forward.
Good stuff. Caleb, what'd you have?
Sorry, my mic was muted. Very rookie mistake on my end.
Oh my gosh. I mean, come on. Since COVID, we shouldn't be having any more muted mics.
I know, right? Okay, so Steve, do you think Darlington Dubar, I was very high on him starting the year. I know it took him a minute to pick up Rick Barnes' defense, and he had a personal issue, then he got hurt. Do you think with all that behind him, do you think that Saturday is the start of a trend, not just a one-off?
I think so. Obviously, to play meaningful minutes in Coach Barnes' system, you got to do one thing, and that's play solid defense. And I think the more in shape Darlington Dubar gets in terms of his overall conditioning, the more he's going to be able to play solid defense, which is going to lead to playing more meaningful minutes. So with Darlington moving forward, it's really a matter of, can he get enough playing time? Can he carve out enough playing time? Can he get himself in the right conditioning to where he can play extended period of time, long minutes? Can he do those things? And if he can be a guy that can be counted on during the stretches of the game in which they're most important. And man, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but he played his rear end off on both ends of the floor this past Saturday night. And I think when the film, I think they're watching film right now. I think the film will tell the tale as to why Darlington Dubar needs more playing time. By far his best game of the year. And I think that given all of his skills, I think he is that guy to help to take Tennessee to where they want to go.
Yep. And especially when the outside shot isn't shooting, he seems like a guy who can do some maybe different things. I think that's the one deficiency that Chaz Lanier has when we compare him to Dalton Connect, right? I mean, he's just not going to finish around the basket as well.
I completely agree. We often saw Dalton Connect have his way with he had the uncanny, the knack for getting around a defender and just going up and just using the athleticism and rising up above and dunking with two hands. Well, you really haven't seen that all that much with Chaz Lanier. In limited sample size, right? Chaz Lanier has the ability to get around a defender, but he oftentimes tries to go up with one hand, and it gets fouled or gets blocked or whatever. So there is a difference there. But Chaz, again, for his lack of percentage-wise in terms of shooting the ball well the last couple of games, as long as he is still the focal point of defenses in our league moving forward, that, believe it or not, can be a really, really good thing for every other player on Tennessee's basketball team. Because when Chaz comes off of a curl screen and he's rising up to shoot, more times than not, you got a big guy that's hedging on a screen. You got a guard trying to get over top, and Chaz is smart enough to either continue up in that shooting motion or dump it off to somebody that's wide open. So I think it's going to pay dividends down the stretch. But for my money, Chaz, he's got the ultimate green light. Look, nobody ever had to tell Steve Hamer, hey, shoot the ball. Nobody ever told me that, right? If you don't shoot the ball, Steve Hamer, you're coming out of the game. So Chaz is in that same ilk, man. He's just got to go ahead and continue to shoot the ball. Shooters are going to shoot. He's going to shoot out of this slump, and we're going to be just fine.
All right, Bank on It, brought to you by Commercial Bank. I'm going to ask you this, Steve. Darlington Dubar is as important as Chaz Lanier.
Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank. What makes us different from other banks? We understand that every customer has unique opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. We don't expect you to fit into the same box as the next person or business. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning for your next vacation, we're with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Commercial.
All right, Steve, Darling Stone Dubar, is he as important as Charles Lanier?
It's a really good question. Darling Stone Dubar is not as important as Chaz Lanier. And I'll tell you why. Chaz Lanier is your scorer. Darling Stone Dubar is your tough guy. He's going to bring, again, a level of physicality. Chaz is not going to do that. Now, Darling Stone Dubar is going to be a defender. He's going to be the guy that is one of those glue guys, if you will. If you don't have Chaz, it's just not going to happen because Chaz Lanier, he doesn't put much pressure on Zakai, puts more pressure on Igor. It puts more pressure on the team, and it's got to be a score. They don't necessarily need him to be that facilitator. They don't need him to be a great rebounder. They need him to score. That's the number one thing separates him and Darling Stone Dubar.
Great stuff, Steve. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. We're excited to say that Steve will be a part of the program each and every Monday talking Vols. Have an absolute blessed day. I can't tell you how excited I am to work with you during basketball season.
Man, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Dave and Caleb, man, honored to join y'all.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Steve Hamer.
Thanks. Have a good one, Steve.
Love that guy. Also, former color commentator of the Tennessee Thundercats, in case you're wondering.